Number one then, and number one now.
You're listening to Heffron and Reep.
Heffron and Reep.
Rated number one podcast by the World Podcasting Federation and the Podcast Ranking Association. No, for reals. It says it right here.
Lock it in and rip the knob off. You're tuned in to number one show on the planet. The Heffron and Reep Show.
Hey everybody, it is Jon Heffron and Jon Reep.
That's right. Yeah, you were kind of your mic was kind of out for a second, then it came on. That's Jon Heffron, and I'm Jon Reep. That's what he was trying to say.
That's
right,
what I
buddy?
meant. That's what I meant to say. We are comedians, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't stay in our lane. You know what we're saying?
Oh.
Sometimes you have opinions about life, and we just say them, but we don't stay in our lane. I don't know. Dude,
why is stay in your lane a thing anyway? I mean, there's more than one lane. I mean, if you've ever been on the interstate, there's several lanes. There's not just one lane.
I don't understand. You're supposed to stay in your lane, right? I get that all the time. If you make any type of not even political, I like almost walking the line is a funnier way to do things. And then you get just everyone mad, but stay in your lane makes no sense. We're like, what's your lane? Like,
well, first of all,
it
implies that we have our own lane, which that's nice. I can't afford that.
Right. Do we have to have our own sticker? Is it like a carpool lane where only we're allowed in it? We're supposed to stay in it. But then why? Usually people tell you to stay in a lane. You could look at them and go, hey, you put tires on a car. Why don't you stay in your lane? See how like assholely that sounds?
Yeah, you're only allowed to talk about changing tires, dude. That's it. Nothing else matters.
So everybody could technically have to stay in their lane, unless you're a political person who talked about political stuff. Then your lane is actually talking about. I don't get it. It's exhausting.
Right.
It's exhausting.
I hate changing lane in your lane, people. So we'll get into that maybe. What else? I
almost got a little argument with somebody online right before the show started, and then I decided that it's not necessary.
Okay.
I was before. Do you want to bring our guest on first, and then we can just have all these conversations?
Should we tease everything we're going to do, or just start doing stuff? Sometimes I like to,
tease it.
I mean, like, what's this? In case someone's just tuning in, and they're like, well, do I want to listen to this whole thing? What can they look forward to this episode? You know what I'm saying?
Well, what can they look forward to?
Well, I think we should talk about our weekends.
Talk
about Halloween. Maybe
I have some information about some computer stuff that should scare everybody. Oh, that's good. Is when you bait people. Yeah. You bait people. Fear is the thing that gets people to listen.
Dude, you're a master at that.
So you bait people.
You're a master baiter.
We're good at that. But my fight real quick, because this weekend, I am at just Thursday night, whatever Thursday is, the 28th, something. I'm at the Traverse City Comedy Club, which is in Traverse City, Michigan, which is way up north, and was originally going up there just for a little vacay, and then a brand new comedy club popped up. So I'm just doing a Thursday night. Boom. Also at the Comedy Cast on November 11th through 13th. But my thing is, somebody wrote a picture underneath me on the Traverse City Comedy Club thing going, you guys have been open for a few weeks now. I get it. When are you going to start bringing in big comedians? Like, so this guy was like, okay, we know you're new. You've been open for 2 weeks. When are you bringing in the big comedians? Mm-hmm. These no-name people are pathetic.
Oh, so, did he say that?
Yeah. And then there was a couple headliners that I didn't know. And then I'm there. Right. So I, underneath him, asked him what regulates what a big comedian is.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And then I go, let me guess. I go, they have to be on Rogan's podcast. You have to see him on Netflix. And I listed all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Right. And then I go,
you were just asking for it.
I go, I check off on every one of those boxes. And I go, and then I went off about, you know what? You probably want to say Tom Saruga, Theo Vaughn. You're probably going to say Chappelle.
Tom
You're probably gonna
Saruga.
say and then I go, but you notice when you see them online, they're performing in front of 20,000 people. The Traverse City Comedy Club holds 143 people.
Right.
Are you that bad at math in business?
Right.
Think about what you're saying for a second.
Right.
Before you don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Unless you
then-
want tickets to be $500 a ticket.
Yeah, then you're getting complaint. And then then I deleted all of that. I can't roll into a brand new comedy club being because that's not even my personality. Just to pick fights before you show up at a show. That's not me.
Not with fans. You like to do it with the venues.
Wasn't a fan. He was like, "Hey, where's these things? How about you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it. It sucks.
Tony's
Actually,
not in every city.
I got my first hate voicemail, which we didn't talk about this pre-show, but I could while we're talking to our guest or something else. I could send it to Alan. It's a death threat.
Send it to Alan.
Okay.
So we hear it, and then we can timestamp it. But do you want to bring on our guest?
Yeah, I think we should.
We have a guest. I gave him more than 30 seconds of notice. 30 minutes. That's what he requires to be a guest on the show. The guy, you probably hear him all the time on what's the show? Wait, there's more on NPR. Is that a thing? That's a thing. That's what he's on. I know he was a winner of Last Comic Standing.
Boom.
That's season 3. The one I had no chance of winning.
He was also a judge the season I won.
He also was a judge. He also tours all the time. Wait, don't tell me. That's the name of the show. He's been on everything. One of the best buds. His name's Alonzo Bodden.
Hey!
That's right. I helped discover Jon Reep, America.
Yeah.
This is true. He helped.
did.
Honestly, in a weird way, yes, because I was asking, I was nervous. I'm like, hey, man, I remember you were the judge and I was outside. This was at the Improv on Melrose. And I'm like, what? I was asking you for some advice or something. You're like, just don't worry. Just be you. You're going to be fine. It was nice.
You're a pro, right? I mean, those initial auditions, the 2-minute daytime to the 5-minute nighttime, I didn't really think you'd have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I didn't think you.
You actually did me a favor too. You and Kathleen Madigan. I was in the middle of, this was, this was where I was just performing for you guys, which is always awkward.
Right.
When another
That's
comedian.
the afternoon thing.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to bring it. I'm just going to do this bit like it's sold out. And I was like a minute into it. And both of you were like, save it. You're fine. You're going on. Just save it. I'm like, oh, thank God. Cause that's awkward. Like selling a bit in front of just another comedian. There's just 3 of you.
I got to say, that's the only time, or maybe that's the closest I've come to casting. You know, we've all done auditions, right? Where you do the casting thing. And it is weird being on the other side of the table. I think the funniest thing was seeing how many people were doing the same bits, not same like stolen, but the same topics or whatever. And, but yeah, that was one of the things that you did and that smart people did in the audition. You got to sell it. You got to, it's still TV. So you got to act like you give a shit,
Right. Yeah.
And
I did. I was in
one guy and Chuck Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Out of New York. Chuck's really cool. So Chuck was in there doing the audition and joking around and talking with us. And then we were like, Chuck, you're going to do material. He's like, wait, this is it? Like he thought he just came in the It was funny. He was just talking. It was like, Chuck, you gotta
there's cameras.
Like you're doing stand up.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
When I was in Nashville and had to audition, it was weird. There was a line to get in, so I was flying somewhere and I took a cab to Zany's, and then I I didn't cut in front of the line, but I had an audition. I didn't have to wait in line. Right. So I kind of took cuts in front of people who were sleeping outside. So a bunch of comics said something to me. And then I went in, and the two guys, the guys who passed you to the next round, were these guys named Bob and Ross. And they're just sitting, Bob and Ross, and I've known them forever. Right. So they're just sitting in the middle of this comedy club. And it'd be like, I've known them so well that it would be like performing for like a relative, like your aunt and uncle, just sitting in the kitchen and you having to come out. And I went on stage because I went right from the airport, and I had like my jacket on, but it's the only time I owned a leather jacket in my life. It was like a motorcycle jacket, really kind of cool and tight fitting, said Detroit on the side. I just went up there because I kind of wasn't taking it seriously. And I did whatever joke. And this Ross Mark guy just goes, "What are you, the Fonz?" Because I'm just in the leather jacket. And then I just walked out, and I was like, was that the whole audition? That was it. And then they're like, "You come back tonight and do your." So
wow. Yeah, look at us. Look at all this alumni right here. This is great. Right. Thanks for coming on, Alonzo. I appreciate it, and glad to see you again. It's been a minute. I know you left the same. Full disclosure, Alonzo and I lived in the same condo townhome complex for a little bit, and it was nice to run into him here and there. But you left there way before me, and then I left not long ago. Where are you now?
I moved to the other side of the valley, so I'm in Woodland Hills, or as I like to call it, Calabasas adjacent.
Yes,
and,
yes.
Yeah, I'm still here. It still is what it is. LA, it's all good.
Yeah.
I liked what you guys were talking about that comedy club, Heff.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was going to say. Like, yeah, you can get Dave Chapelle to do a 140 seater. The tickets will only be $1,000 each.
Right. Yeah. So what can he complain about? Either the ticket prices are too high or the venue's too small. He'll find something.
That's my favorite thing. When anytime a comedy club goes, "What acts would you like to see?" It's like the same. Like people who
always name people that will never be in that venue.
Yeah, and
well, not in the next 5 years. Yeah,
but that's the weird thing with comedy now, and not weird thing is nobody takes a chance on a new comic. Like nobody, if a comedy club is just having, like I was in San Francisco, and they set out like a mailer for like that, second show Friday. So, that one's going to be a little papered. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I get my room papered every once in a while. And I also have a zit. This kid goes, "Yeah, never heard of you before. We decided just to take a chance." And I was like, "Oh, that's weird. That's weird that's such somebody's like, oh my God, we're going to go listen to somebody we've never heard before."
You mean
for free?
You know who does that? And that's their marketing theory, are the improvs. If you look at the improv, they want you to say that you went to the Denver Improv or you went to the DC Improv. They don't want you to say you went to see Jon Reep, and unless it's one of their, big name sellout, 10 show weeks. But yeah, they love people to just know, oh, whoever's at the, Denver Improv is funny. So I'll just go there not knowing who's there. I mean, clubs like that. I was talking once with Mike Lacey at Comedy Magic. And he was saying he'd run into Hartman at some event. To all your listeners, Robert Hartman's one of the guys who runs the entire corporate improv chain, whole bit. And he said, Robert told him, he said, "Man, you're lucky you can still book funny." Like the improv, like it's such a business that it's all about putting asses in seats and what do you draw, or how little can we pay you, or what, you know what I mean? It's like, it's all corporate analytics and this and that. It funny, I guess funny might be the fifth thing on the list or something like that. You know? And you guys know it. You know that, like when we do TV or you get a special or like you said, you do Rogan, something like that, you get that spike and then they love you. And then that spike cools off and they're like, "And you are
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If they could find a way to where people could play laser tag in a half hour and eat chicken tenders, they would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how you guys are. I'm at this point now where I just kind of roll with it, man. I'm like, look, I got nothing new to show you. If you don't want to book me at your club, like if you don't know who I am and what I do, I don't have any new tricks that are going to impress you.
Right.
Well, dude, Alonzo, I mean, now imagine me and Reep how hard it is being a 50-year-old white guy. Like realize,
don't you feel so sorry for us?
You guys had a good run. All right. You had a good run.
Man.
You're taking advantage of it. I don't know.
I didn't know we had this whole time, dude.
Well, Alonzo, that's why me and I think you know this, but a couple months ago, when me and Reep did a bunch of bowling alleys all through Michigan, we did it kind of as it was also survival. It was during COVID where nothing was open, and we kind of found a way that these places are. Let's do these bowling alleys. It was kind of like quiche or whatever the word is, fun. It just there'll be hell gigs, and we'll make a story of it. They were all awesome. Like every show, the audience was clapping. I don't think I heard a drink spill. I didn't hear a server make a noise. I didn't hear. It was nothing but literally love from the local Michigan guy who was doing guest sets to Brent to then John then to me. They were so appreciative that you start going, yeah, I am gonna roll with it. I don't know if I need a 500-seater in a mall that nobody shops at anymore. I do, by the way. If anyone's listening, I totally do. But yeah.
No, my next thing, like I'm up for this hosting gig with Wait, hosting a comedy tour for them, and hopefully that goes through. But I'm looking at just starting out with 100-seat theaters in towns, man, and just keep the money, Yeah. I think that's where I'm at in my career. Like I get booked at a club and it's okay. And because of NPR, actually, I get NPR people in some cities that does really good. But otherwise, let's face it, man, you gotta have, I don't know, a viral video or a big podcast following or something. Yeah. I don't even know anymore, what's putting asses in seats. There are comics who are making $100,000 a week, and I couldn't tell you their name, much less where they're from. But that's the nature of the business. I mean, we were like that. Like I remember when we were doing Last Comic, when we were on our tour, and I bumped into Dom Herrera in Vegas, and Dom said, "You know how crazy this business is?" He said, "Right now, Jay London is a bigger name than me."
Right.
Which was true, right? Because we were on TV every week at that time, right? So there's, I don't know, man. This is the thing, and I think you two have it, and I try to stay on top of it. You can't get bitter, man. I've seen the bitterness destroy people. Like you can't, you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Even joking about it, I think sometimes am I just sounding too bitter when I'm really not? Right. There has to be a thing where you go, as I'm holding back a sneeze. We've all had 25, 30-year careers doing this. That's a long ass, like who has a job that lasts that long? Right. So even our worst years are still pretty amazing, but I think the key is more Instagram shots of our butt is one of the keys that I'm noticing. And I think the three of us need to dance more.
Well, on it. So we're a little old for TikTok, so I don't know about the dance.
And then how do you do it? Because Alonzo,
might be reported as a bit creepy if we start dancing on TikTok.
Yeah, it looks sad. See, I used to dance. I used to be called the Hickory Dance Machine, and I would come out. I was a young man. I was in my 20s, and I would dance around, and it was fun. And I did it 3 different times in my act. And then I remember this distinct moment where I thought, like, this looks bad because I'm getting too old for this. Like, yeah, like I remember, like I was it was a college gig, and these girls were like, "Oh yeah, we saw your showcase." I'm like, and when they say like saw you, but they didn't say whether I liked you. Yeah. Like in your head, you're like, you didn't like it, and I this is when I was a rookie, so I stupidly asked, "And did you like it?" And they're like, well, the dancing just went on and on, you know, and I realized I am too old to pull that off anymore. So I don't do the dance, but I improvised, I adapt, I overcome, I do different stuff. But yes.
What was I going to say? Well, I think
dancing on TikTok, John.
Dancing. What another thing?
Let me stop you, John.
Okay.
When you can't remember what you were about to say, you're too old for TikTok.
There we go. Yeah,
that was it.
I watch a lot of YouTube, and I notice a lot of comedians who I don't know because I don't live in Los Angeles anymore, and they're younger. There are a lot of comics who use the word "goat" a lot, and literally almost every comedian, their whole podcast is talking about Joe Rogan. It's literally podcast. There's all these weird subsets of guys that for an hour will just go Joe Rogan's a goat, and there are all these younger guys. So so we can't do that. Or if you go way far, pick a political side and just go way to whatever extreme that is.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so I think one of Brewers, and he didn't do it on purpose. He's got to be selling more tickets because he did the whole I'm not getting vaccinated thing. Right.
He took a stance.
His numbers have jumped because of just that statement. And then people also are like, how dare you? He gets that too. Yeah. But it's kind of weird. Like if we were to pick a stance on something that doesn't like the strawberry should be taken out of Neapolitan ice cream. Like if we took the three of us took a hard stance.
Wait, time out. I just realized something. We are Neapolitan ice cream right now.
Right.
Hey, you want to get rid of me, Heffron? Is that what you're saying?
Wow.
Right.
And he's turning on you, Reep. He's trying to push you out.
What the hell, dude? Come on.
But if we took a stance on that, then we're going to get everybody who's like, right? The strawberry Rex.
Yeah, to an extent. But one of the things I think you got to be genuine with it, right? Like we know Brewer. And Brewer's got his opinions, but he's doing it because he thinks, it's him. He's not doing it to generate ticket sales. Right. And I suspect he's gonna like some of those new fans. Some of those new fans, I got a feeling he ain't gonna be too crazy about, Yeah,
that's so true.
Definitely can draw to the extremes, and I delve in political and topical stuff, and I get some people mad. And somebody told me, look, if 20% of them ain't mad, you ain't trying,
Right.
We live in such an insane time now. When someone says don't politicize it, what can you say in this country that's not going to be political today? Anything you say,
right?
Somebody's going to have a problem with it, and it's like that thing in Texas, right? Where they were like, we have to teach the other side of the Holocaust. Really? What's the other side of the Holocaust? What's the, you know what I mean? Like you can't say or do anything. So you have to stop caring. That's just my opinion. And Rogan, you guys know Joe, right? I mean, it's a cult.
It is
not of his own making. In other words, I don't think Joe went out and said, I'm going to form this cult following that's going to do. They're bigger disciples than he is. They're more Rogan than he is.
Yeah. It's sort of it took a life of its own, actually.
Yeah, it really did, and he's good for him.
Yeah.
But like when Rogan got COVID and they were all talking about that ivermectin, I'm like, Joe's worth $100 million. He has really good doctors.
Yeah.
He could horse medicine. Joe's got really good doctors.
Yeah.
That group, that group. I mean, even when me and Reep started our podcast 10 years ago. Shit.
Oh, but yeah,
ago.
John, we didn't keep it going. We were like, we started, stopped.
But when we started, though, we were with Death Squad.
Yeah.
Where Brian Redband literally created podcasts for everybody.
Dude, we did one. All three of us did one on Red Ben's apartment one time on that little shitty couch.
He had everybody who's doing arenas now, literally in that apartment. So when we were a part of that, you could tell that group mentality that even happened back then. They were loyal. Yeah. Like they were 100%. I've had people come to my show going, heard John Rogan. I'm like, you mean episode 5?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know what they're up to.
Yeah.
But here's a way that maybe we can make our lives 100 times easier. And I'm just going to switch subjects because over the weekend, I found this program and I've been training it. So me and Michelle, my girl, we want to do a podcast, but I'm like, well, if we're not with each other, how are we going to do this? And da. So then I downloaded this program that, it has a narrator on it. So you could type whatever you want. And then you can pick a voice that'll narrate it. Right. So in this podcast, we're going to do, there's a little bit of reading that's involved in every podcast. It's more of an information based than just talking like this. I'm like, I don't want to sit there and read. I have a horrible out loud reading voice. I'm not good at it. It makes me nervous. Even when I was a kid and you're in class and everyone had that take a paragraph, I would count like how many people, then I'd count my paragraph and then I would start practicing it before it got to me. So I wasn't the kid who reads like this. And so I found this program. And then it says, hey, you can have your own voice be the narrator. You just have to teach me. It's literally you're talking to like an AI computer guy. Yeah.
Saw that on 60 Minutes.
So I trained it for maybe I think you're supposed to train it for an hour and a half. I only did about 20 minutes of it. And then I had stuff to do. So I just want to show you like how fast it picked up my voice. So what I did is, Alan, I'll have you play not yet though, the very first thing. I was literally reading something about the movie Breakfast Club. Okay. So then all I did was I cut and pasted the first paragraph I was reading about. Remember the ending of Breakfast Club when he's like, dear Mr. Vernon, you asked us to write, the letter at the end of Breakfast Club. Mm-hmm. Well, there was an original version of that letter that we are brainwashed. It's different than the movie, right? Okay. And it's not as good. So the whole article is about rewriting stuff. So I just cut and pasted and put it into this program, and then I hit me as a narrator. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in like so what you're about to listen to, is it me?
But it's a program that tried to learn your voice, and it's narrating the letter on the Breakfast Club. Yes,
it's a paragraph before the letter. Like it's just some like artsy fartsy.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this. I wonder if they got you right. Okay.
It's easy to get attached to the first draft of any writing, whether it's something as complex as a screenplay or just a short blog post. We all know that redrafting our work is the key to making it better. And yet emotionally, it's sometimes difficult to force ourselves to do what needs to be done. We can all occasionally get attached to thinking our first stab at something is pure, and any subsequent attempt to improve it could ruin it. The truth, if John Hughes can't get it right the first time, there's no reason to think you have. And if he'd stuck to his first draft here, we'd have lost out on one of the single best moments of the 80s cinema.
Dude, none of that's you?
No, none of that was me.
Holy shit.
So
that sounds exactly like you.
So obviously there's the weird parts where it does this. So you can, in the program, go in there and start to tweak that. Like I could fix some of those blatant things. But dude, I'm just a guy like on my dumb computer, not knowing how to use. Can you imagine like what the government has?
You just gave comedy clubs another reason they don't actually need you.
That's what I mean.
Right? Give them that. Don't teach them that they don't need you. And like, we can read the jokes and then have his voice say it.
Well, so that's what this program does is so we could be recording this podcast just like this, and it would record all of us. And let's say I say, hey, I'm at the Comedy Cast on November 13th through the 16th. And I realize I said it wrong. All I do is go in and type November 12th through the 14th, and it corrects it in my own voice. So if you mess up, it'll fix it.
Oh, that's one good thing.
And then also I made one for you, John. When I first did, I just grabbed this thing and I went to your Wikipedia. Voice? No, not your voice. I just with my own, but you'll see. This one sounds more robot-y. This one isn't. Yeah, Alan, if you want to play that.
Interesting. Okay. I thought you hijacked my voice, dude. I was going to be mad.
Jon Reep is an American stand-up comedian and actor known as That Thing Got a Hemi. Guy and Dodge commercials starting in 2004. From 2004 to 2006, he played the recurring character police officer Gerald Bob in the ABC sitcom Rodney. In 2007, Reep won the 5th season of Last Comic. Wow. Here are some of his tour dates. November 2nd, Ladson, SC Coastal Carolina Fair. November 19th, Evansville in CK New Zone Community Center. November 20th, Bowling Green, KY National Corvette Museum. November 26th, Nashville, TN Saints. November 27th.
All right, I get
Nashville,
it.
TN Saints.
That's great, dude.
John, those out. So
that's great.
But that because it's not written continuous, so it's reading weird and taking those pauses.
Yeah, so you could, if I wanted, you could go through, take pauses, hit commas, kind of spell out things a little bit differently, and then you could start. If you know anything about audio, you can start tweaking the audio to really fine tune it.
I have a question.
So, John, and by the way, John, you talk about taking your voice. All you need is 45 minutes to an hour of they have a script for you to read, but I'm going to create a new voice and I'm going to throw in one of my comedy specials to see. Of course, it's going to be the whole narration is going to be yelling. But I just want to see if it learns my voice through that.
Okay. Well, this is also great for people who want to do audio books. You know, let's just say you had an audio book and you don't want to spend all day reading it. Yeah. Now you don't have to, just spend, 20 minutes with that program. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it puts a lot of voiceover people out of work, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you should see.
I mean, it will.
Think about looping. I bet that's who developed this, because if you don't have to pay people for looping their voice, you save a fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can type in, I've been messing around with it. I just pick, it's called overdubbing, and I just pick random stuff and change it. And it sounds, and you can do it. It does it with video too.
Is there a way I can get access to your
voice
password so I could make you say things I don't want you to say?
Well, 100%. Yeah. Okay. I can give you mine. Yeah.
So that's a slippery slope there, right? Maybe someone hacks into your program, get your password for that service, and now you're saying the worst things imaginable coming out of your mouth. And it's, I share it, and then people, can you hear listen to what John Heffron said, and now you're canceled, right?
Right.
That's the bad part of it.
Going to happen.
Yeah.
100% it's going to
it's also going to be people's excuse, when they say something.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a loophole.
No, my voice was stolen. I could hear politicians saying that every other day.
Yeah. Oh, that's so smart. What is the name of this service? Because I want to see. Oh, let's take bets on who the first politician that's going to use this as an excuse.
I know on the 2020 on the 20.
I love the speed in which that came out of your mouth. That's fast. Ted Cruz. Yes, totally. I wasn't going to Florida. That was my hologram.
I never. Yeah. I want to see that. Who should use it the most is that QAnon chick, that green lady.
Yeah, Marjorie Green.
Yeah, she should be like my.
No, but there's an example. She doesn't deny it. She leans into it. Like, her followers want her to say the craziest shit you've ever heard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, John. I'm trying to think of how I can take advantage of that for myself. But it's crazy how it even got like the way that you pronounce like your S's, like you have a thing It's a tiny little thing, and it's not a bad thing. I don't hear anyone else do it like you. It got that down. That's pretty damn good.
And the little hesitations in your voice.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how good it was.
And those weren't even good. Yeah, dude. So Reep. So what we can do is, instead of doing a podcast, we can just type each other, and we'll just all of our texts will just be read. Boom. Done.
What if can you check? Like, I don't think most people like the way they sound when they hear their own voice later.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've heard most people say, "Oh, I hate the way I sound," and I'm one of those guys. I don't like the way I sound. If that's the case, could I go in there and change it? Like, well, I think I should have a deeper voice.
Yeah, you can change theirs. So when you read the script, and the script's impossible to read, it's just this nature thing. And it's just, you feel just anxiety because you keep messing up, but you can change your energy level. So I could make some of the reading sad or questionable. Like, the whole time I'm reading, I'm kind of what? Or you can make it very authoritative or happy, so you can change your emotion. So you go through, and when you do some stuff that has, different emotions, you just call that whatever emotion you want. Like, I could do a whisper.
So this will either clean up trouble or dig a hole you'll never get out of.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, I could leave voicemails on if I had access to that, I could say the worst things and call people and leave voicemails as John Heffron.
Yeah.
But you do it in a questioning manner. So really say
I wish there was a way I could
I think we should see other people.
Yeah, I wish on my computer I would just type and let it play. But anyway, Alonzo, so you're in Woodland Hills, my neck of the woods. I used to live maybe a block or so away from Alonzo. Why am I all itchy?
Yeah. Did you ever go to his place, Alonzo? Did you ever see John's old place?
Not when I lived here. I went back when we first bought, because we bought our houses. Like, I had bought a house in Santa Clarita. That was my first mistake. And
a lot of comics moved out there.
He bought Woodland Hills, and I think we saw each other's houses then, but that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you realize that Santa Clarita, a lot of comics moved out there, but you realize moving to Austin is actually a quicker commute to Los Angeles than Santa Clarita. Right? Like, it kind of, So, how's Vaughn's? How's my old neck of the, is the grocery store? How's Vaughn's?
Somehow they're staying in business without you. They do periodically ask me, what happened to Heff? Where'd he go? And no, it's this area. I like it. I liked it.
I was happy.
Everything's convenient here, and getting to Hollywood, getting to the Factory or the Improv, since I'm going at night, takes about a half hour. So this area works.
Yeah. How was it for you during pandemic and everything? Did you ever get COVID? Did you get vaccinated?
No, man, I was cool. I mean, I live alone, right? My girl would come over on weekends and stuff, and I don't know if I limited my exposure that much. I'm single. I don't cook, so I went to the store a lot. I ordered food from restaurants and picked it up. But I think common sense was on my side, and then, I got vaccinated as soon as I was eligible, because I believe in science, and somehow scientists work better for me than whoever else they're listening to.
I got vaccinated too. Yeah.
Yeah. I was lucky. I did, a lot of Zooms. It was one of those things that, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate, but I got good at doing Zoom comedy. So I worked a lot doing that, and then doing the outdoor shows and whatever, whenever I could. I said it was like open micing, right? Like there's a rooftop on Wednesdays. Yeah. And then there's a beach thing on Saturday. And, you just talk to the other comics and found out where the parking lot shows were or whatever, just to get up in front of people.
Yeah.
I had some horrible Zoom. The very first one I did, I was at the Punchline in Atlanta, and this is before I even knew. And I had to go into the green room there to do the Zoom. Like it was in between shows. In the green room there, everybody just comes back there. There was always random people running to the kitchen. Marcy's coming back. There's a lot going on. So I look at my phone and I just saw a red light. I didn't get introduced or nothing. And I stared at my phone and I didn't even know how to do. I'm staring at my phone. I don't see anybody. And I know I was supposed to go on at 8:30. And I'm just talking. I'm like, hey, and then mom's cut hair weird. And I'm just doing bits somehow from when I was 19 are popping up. Then all I saw was one comment that floated above in my phone that said, Zoom bombing at its best. That's all I saw, which is was just that. So then I got done and I'm like, I'm never doing one of these again. And then, of course, when you're like, what, shows are canceled more? Yeah, probably until next year. You're like, okay, I'll do these. Then I did another one where I forgot the comedian, but he's on in front of me and you can kind of watch it. Every punchline is like, so then I'm at the beach with my son and he hits a button and then suddenly he's at a beach and he's in front of a green screen, but now he's at a beach. And then his son walks out and his son delivers the punchline that he would normally go. And my son's like that. He has a kid do it and the kid leaves and then he switches it. So I ever go to a nightclub and then he's in a nightclub and I'm
that sounds like a lot of
internet connection. Right. Going, I don't even know how I'm going to like. So I was like, guys are figuring this out quick.
Yeah.
Wow. This is like,
well, Ben Glebe and Hofstetter figured it out and made a fortune, right? That Nowhere Comedy Club thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I forgot about that. Is that still happening?
Yeah. But I don't know how many people are going on now that the world's live again.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Yeah.
But for
the technology,
they were just killing it on that thing.
Wow.
Because they figured out how to make the experience good and how to get people laughing, right? So you could hear people laughing. Because that was the big thing with Zoom and streaming was if you didn't hear people laughing, your timing's off. You're talking too fast. There's no give or take.
So I figured this out during one of them. Speaking of sound, I realized I think once we start doing, you guys hear that?
Yeah, we hear you.
There, now I hear that. Yeah.
So what I did is I went and I got all these isolated, like one person giggling, one person laughing, and when I was doing the Zoom, I'd be talking like this. And then I was just.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, I had a whole, and then I thought there should be a company that just logs on with you, and some guy's just sitting there hitting all the buttons for crowd noise the whole time.
You figured it out. You don't need a company. It's right there. It's coming from
the same microphone. He's a sound guy, and he had the gig of adding the cheers to Rams football and Laker basketball games.
Right. Yeah, that was weird, man.
Weird. And he said, the tough thing was you had to be the home team. So you had to make sure you cheered and yelled at the right time and stuff. Mm-hmm. And with basketball, it's a quick game. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was his gig during the pandemic.
I remember watching those first NFL games where they had to do that. And thinking like it's obviously not great, but they got better at it. By mid-season, I was like, I can't really tell if that's a crowd noise or that's they did a good job. But now, thank God, we don't have to do that anymore.
I met a guy, or probably it was the same people that transferred, like do all the America's Got Talent or all those The Voice, all that cheering and that you hear is just one guy with a sound effects machine that just sits there and he sweetens the live show the whole time. So anytime you hear applause or people cheering or whatever, it's literally a guy smashing buttons.
Yeah. Thank you for ruining my voice. Yeah.
Oh, hey, real quick. The Alan Jackson.
You know who the masked singer is too, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Buzzkill, spoiler alert. Hey, the Alan Jackson, were you able to get that voicemail, my angry death threat message I sent to you? I don't know if you were able to get it.
Yes, I did.
Would you guys like to hear the first ever death threat that I got?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, so let me.
I can't imagine someone wanting to kill you.
Well, that's how I feel. I don't really do a lot of things that are controversial or.
Yeah, I'm wondering
or,
what in your act does he have a huge problem with?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: what state in this country,
Florida,
would you say is the most proud to be from that state? Not Texas. Yeah, I know. As soon as I said it, I'm thinking they're going to say Texas.
Not New Hampshire. New Hampshire. Those people, New Hampshire.
Texas, New York.
New Hampshire. I never would have said
Jersey.
New Hampshire. Oh.
Jersey people take a lot of pride in Jersey.
Yeah, they do. This is West Virginia. I have a bit about West Virginia.
Yeah, you got to be careful with those hillbillies and up in the hollers and all that. You know?
So I'll tell you, the joke is I say this, West Virginia, and I have a whole bit about it. So I'm not even sure what part of the joke pissed him off, but I have to think it's this part where I say West Virginia is a beautiful state physically. It's like a beautiful, I'm just going to say what I used to say. It's like a beautiful retarded girl. Because you look at her and you think, oh, yeah. And then you talk to her and you're like, oh, no. And so that's the joke. And so I think this dude didn't like that. Although it has nothing to do with the R word. It has to do with just me bashing West Virginia.
Right.
Alan Jackson, let's hear it, I guess. Oh, yeah. And it came with some other stuff after it.
Oh, yeah. Patrick Sean Coleman.
Hey, you punk faggot motherfucker. I'm from West Virginia, whore. And next time I see you, if I ever see you, I'm going to beat your motherfucking brains out, you fucking ginger bitch.
There you go. Well, he didn't say he's going to kill me. He said he's going to beat my motherfucking brains out, which I assume would kill me. So I'm chalking that with a death threat, right?
Yeah, that's verbal. I'm reading. He's rude.
Yeah. F you. I bet you may not suck a dick, but I damn sure you'd hold it in your mouth till someone come along who will. And then I wrote rude.
John,
I said I wrote the word rude. Don't you like my comeback? I just said rude. And he goes, yeah, well, I used to like you till you talk shit about West Virginia. Now, fuck you. I said, ha ha, you sensitive.
First off,
and now he's looking up sensitive so he can reply.
No, but hey, Alan, scroll some more because here's what I did, guys. I won him back. All right. So he goes, nope, just proud to be a mountaineer. I was born in Charleston and raised in Boone County. I am West Virginia. I bleed blue and gold. And I said, that's great, man. Do you happen to know any of the Whites, like Jessica White from the Wild and Wonderful Whites? He goes, yeah, I know Jessica, Mammy, Mousy. I know all of them. Shit, man, Mousy was my neighbor. There's a bunch of us nuts out here for real, LOL.
Oh, you got the LOL.
So then I go, nice. I love those movies. Been to Charleston many times. Beautiful country up there. Keep going, Alan. And then he goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, it really is, man. If you're ever up this way, if you want to stop in and I could introduce you to all of them, we could even smoke a blunt and bullshit a little. So this dummy started off wanting to bash my brains in, and now he wants to hang out with me. Isn't that great?
That's beautiful. You know where I've had that happen? I've done motorcycle events. And a lot of bikers are extreme right wing,
right? And
then they see my comedy somewhere else, and they are.
That you, Alan.
I thought I liked you. I'm like, that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, Alan, can we have that last view you just did right there? The three of us without our. Yeah, I kind of like that better.
Yeah, you can see my guns, dude. Alonzo,
John. First off. That shows you what a good friend you are, that you, in fact, don't suck dick. But if you had a buddy who did and was looking for it, you would be like, listen,
right?
You're here. You want somebody to do this. My buddy just went to go get cigarettes. He's going to come back, probably all out of it. But yours is already out of your pants. So instead of you getting all cold and chilled, I'll keep it warm. And then when my buddy comes, I'm just going to pass you off and you guys can probably meet. You guys probably might really, really like hit it off. And then I'm going to go off. So there's not a lot of friends like that.
I'm not an a-hole.
That was a unique insult.
I've heard versions of this before where it's like, I bet you won't suck, but I bet you hold it in your mouth. I've heard that before. So even his little insult wasn't that original. But my thing is, I was just trying to stay cool. And I really was, because I thought about like, am I going to respond like in an angry way? Or am I just I just want to see if I can win him back. And I did. So now that I've won him back, I kind of want to do something else to where I go, I want to do something back. But
well, you can use this old one, and you're a good friend, man. Type of guy goes downtown, gets 2 blowjobs, comes back and gives me one.
Right. Yeah. But if you listen to the voicemail, I want to, because I kind of want to have him on the show. I'd like to get him to zoom in because I want to know what his drug of choice is. I'm going to guess it's meth because there was a thing where it sounded like his septum was like that little muscle in the back of your nose. Like if you do too much cocaine, it goes away. Like I think something's gone up here. It's how the guy who was married to Roseanne Barr, what's his name?
Tom Arnold.
It's how Tom Arnold talks now. Hey, guy, there's something missing in the nose where he doesn't enunciate very well. This guy had some of that.
My question is just where, you mentioned somebody's state where you get that mad.
Right.
Like that, I don't understand that reaction.
Oh, you know why? Because they're known as hillbillies. They're sensitive to it because that's their rep.
Yeah.
Right?
He didn't respond to John by going, really? Here's my master's degree. Here's my master's degree. Here's the 5 businesses I own. Here's my 401k. He didn't respond that way.
Right.
He didn't put you in your place.
Yeah. So should I reach out, John? Should I keep going with this? Should I keep catfishing this dude?
I'm curious about because nowadays you don't know how cray people actually.
Yeah, he might actually show up.
I would let it alone. I'm curious about why he was so angry enough to do that. But
So
have
you had that to that extreme? Have you had someone threaten your life? Someone who want to beat your brains in, John or Alonzo?
I've had that. Unrelated to anything. It's always I suck. I call myself like anytime if you do just for the fun of it, do a weird comment on Rogan's Instagram and you'll get 1 million people attacking you for even if it's they're so predictable. Even if it's just something just milk toast down the middle, you'll just I always
they'll go at you. Yeah.
You think you're a comedian because you got comedian in your Instagram.
Think I was going to respond with this. I'm like, the only reason you're so angry at me is because I'm right. The best insults, the ones that hurt us the most, are the ones that have an element to truth in them. If I just looked at you and said, "Oh, you're not funny," well, then you're not going to get mad at that because obviously you are. You've made a living doing this for a very long time. That holds no weight. If I look at you and I give a real good insult that is true, then it really pisses you off. So that's what pissed this dude off because everything I said in the bit is true.
The fact he used the R word was the most offensive part of that. He didn't even mention,
Well, they haven't stopped yet.
Yeah, that's not a thing there yet.
As a matter of fact, if you hit him with the R word, he'll be like, "What makes you think I was reading?"
Yeah. I had somebody say something once where I don't even know what the reaction was. It was an old bit I used to do about myself about where I go to young guys and I talk about them peeing themselves. If you don't, it's not the most, it's not groundbreaking, but it's the whole thing like how to shake a certain way and I make reference to clearing a gun and putting it back where you're going to get the dribble mark. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to have this conversation with your wife when she goes, "Do you piss your pants?" And then I say something about, "Hey, I don't talk." There's been times I walk by your underwear and I've had questions, right? And that gets a huge laugh from the women. But the bit is not me talking to anybody. It's all, then you're going to talk to this person and they might say, so it has no, I had this lady light me up about how dare I share a private conversation that I had with about a woman's like, you're no Prince Charming. Like, she was just going off, and you're like, it's a made up bit. Like, it's not, I'm not even talking about like real people. I didn't say this happened to me, and then it's made up, the whole thing.
Actually recently, the craziest one I had is this woman from Germany. And wow. I didn't even know it was a woman when they emailed, right? It was one of those emails, would you do a show at this base in Germany? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Here's my manager's info, contact him, blah, blah, blah. And, I was doing this AM talk radio thing for a while this past summer. And I walked out one day and she was there.
Yeah.
Oh, like she had come from Germany to LA on her vacation or whatever. And was right there, and then followed me. I did shows. Where did I go? I went to Chicago and somewhere, like I had like 3 shows in 2 weeks, and she showed up at each one, and they were in different cities.
Boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I told her, I said, look, you're there's a boundary. You're crossing a boundary. I said, I appreciate you cannot just show up where I'm at. And yeah, that was like my friend of mine who used to run a club, she was like, yeah, those are the people who will kill you. Like that, that's the kind of shit you need to be scared. Not the person who threatens you. Like Tammy said that once. Tammy said she did a show and there was a guy with a life-size cutout of her waiting for her in the lobby. Imagine that. That kind of shit.
And that's how I met her. Yeah.
Oh, God.
And that's how I met her. It's weird. Did that person get a hold of you when you were doing radio? Is that how she came across you?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I remember, it was through Instagram. It was through an Instagram DM about would you do a show in Germany?
When I did morning radio here in Detroit, I had a person who would send faxes or letters to the station because there wasn't a way to get a hold of you back then. There was no social media. And she would say, I hear all the secret messages you're giving me. I know when you say Celine Dion, that means to run to the back, like outside. And then I started getting 10-page letters that had no room on the paper. So you'd write normal and then you'd go sideways and then you'd go, there wasn't any paper left. I get 5 or 6 of them. And they were like, hey, so I like the red house we looked at. And I know you got mad at me when I liked the blue house. But she would bring stuff to the station. She brought baby shoes to the station once, which to this day is still one of the scariest things. Junk mail. And then a can of tuna fish that was an empty can of tuna fish. So then I'm 20 something at the time. And my boss goes, you have to call the cops right now. You have to call the cops right now. Because if anything happens to her, she says you did anything, you're done. You have to call. So police came
to protect you.
She should. So I have a stack of notes, like crazy talk.
But you know what I respect about her, Hef? Back then, you had to work to be a stalker.
Right?
You didn't have any social media to work with.
She had to go to get a stamp.
Time and effort into threatening your life.
Yeah. So then
these stalkers today, they got it too easy.
One DM, bam. Yeah, you gotta. So then I had to go get one of those. What are they called? The personal protection things, right?
Yeah, restraining order.
Restraining order. So she couldn't be by me. So I went.
Wow.
And it had it all filled out. I had like stacks of paper. The form you fill out, and this is horrible. And I don't know if this is still the case because it probably happens more with women having stalkers than vice versa, but it's a horrible system. It's literally, I had enough room for 2 lines to write why this person might be a threat. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you're going to a tanning salon and they ask if you have anything wrong with you, like, how, like, and I kind of write it. And then
I like that you asked that analogy to a ginger and then Alonzo, a black man, a tanning salon.
Guys, you guys know.
I know the tanning salon.
Of course. Look at us.
So somebody who knew me, or some woman who was an attorney knew me from the radio, and she goes, I'll look at all that before you bring that into the judge if you want. And I go, well, I have all this. And she goes, the judge is only going to read the sentence you wrote. I'm like, yeah, but what about all this crazy talk? She goes, he's just going to read the sentence. So she kind of tweaked it, and she's like, good luck. And she, leaves, give it to the guy. You know what the guy said to me? Literally goes, you're being a pussy. You can handle this on your own.
The judge said that?
Literally what the guy said.
The guy's the judge?
The judge. And I left. To this day, I don't know what that means or what.
That was his sister was the one stalking you.
It was it was the thing. And then I went back to the radio station, like, well, did you get the thing? And then I'm like, apparently I'm just being a pussy. Yeah.
Wow, that's insane. Well, that's a preemptive strike on your move, because your boss was right. Like, if had something happened and there was this paper trail, because it's usually whoever calls the cops first is who they believe. So you making the call first was smart.
Yeah.
That's insane, dude. Hey, we're at an hour. I was hoping we could talk about Alec Baldwin and that gun going off, dude, because that's
say that's a horrible story. I've been on movie sets where I had to
in Harold and Kumar too. I had to shoot a gun, and I just know all the safety speeches that I had to go through.
Yeah, I've been there too. It is unbelievable how safe they are when there's a gun there. And the prop guy, that's it. He will not let you touch it. You know what I mean? This thing, Alec Baldwin really screwed up. I'll tell you the craziest thing though. Yesterday, this woman was talking to me and she was telling me how bad she feels for Alec Baldwin. Mm-hmm. And I said, a woman got killed. And she said, yeah, but Alec Baldwin has his kids and everything. And it made me think, like, is that how powerful celebrity is, that a celebrity kills somebody and you feel bad for the celebrity because they're going to have, a bump in their fame or whatever, or have to. That was crazy to me, how to her, the victim who died meant nothing. Right. And it was all about Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, I think that's the initial thoughts. I think people have is like, how could this happen? And then like, oh, well, there's that picture of Alec Baldwin like bent over, just like, just aghast at the situation. But that's a good point. I think you're right. I think a lot of people have that like, oh, or they go the other way, because there are some people who don't like Alec Baldwin. Yeah. People on the far right.
Yeah, suddenly there is a lot of people that are suddenly concerned about guns and being misused all of a sudden.
Yeah.
There is.
Well, he hasn't done much to make himself likable.
Right.
right.
You know what I mean? It's not like if this had been Keanu Reeves, right? If they were making John Wick 4 and Keanu accidentally shot somebody, it would just be a horrible accident, Mm-hmm. But it being Alec Baldwin, and he's a smug guy, and he's pissed off a lot of people. Yeah. It ain't hard for Alec Baldwin to be an asshole. It's not like he's like, man, I really got to work at this. It's always right there. So
yeah, and I had heard too, because Alec Baldwin, the actor, probably will be okay in terms of getting accused of going to jail. He probably won't go to jail for that. But he was a producer. So as a producer who's in charge of the whole production, it's kind of on him too. Like, well, why weren't you?
Well, it's going to cost him some money. That's what ultimately it's just going to cost him a lot of money. And being the producer, he'll probably try to get the movie to pay for it, or the insurance, on the set to pay for it. That's going to be his fight, because, the insurance company is going to be like, no, you broke the rules, so we're not covering it, Mm-hmm. And they have the money and the lawyers to fight him. Unfortunately, the victims of the family, they're probably just going to get some money in a civil suit, and that's it.
Yeah. So that's insane, because I don't understand how that could have happened. I don't understand how it happened with Brandon Lee. I don't understand how anytime, and today where we have all this technology with green screens and CGI, why do we even need a real gun? Or, know,
I was reading a thing about it today, and it said that the AD, the one who handed him the gun, apparently they were setting up before lunch, and they had lunch, and they came back. It's almost like a comedy skit. Like there were 3 guns, prop guns and they gave him the wrong gun. Now the question arises, why were any of them loaded? But for whatever reason, the guy handed him the wrong gun, which again, Reep, you've been around it. That's so irresponsible, because normally they just wouldn't let you touch anything, and they would check it right before they handed it to you. And they basically treat you like you're a 5-year-old idiot.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they're dealing with actors, so they're dealing with 5-year-old idiots.
That's exactly right. And I'll just give you a scenario. When I did Harold and Kumar, there's a scene where I shoot this deer, right? And so, but Harold and Kumar are in the background. So they're saying, "All right, John, this is a very serious thing. We have a gun on the set. It's not a real gun. This is a whatever. It's got the fake stuff in it, but." You can't even point it at anybody. He said, when you do this scene, your inclination is to point it over here because that's where the acting is going to happen. That's where I don't want you pointed over there. I want you to point over here, and we'll fake it so it looks like you're pointing at them. So I don't even understand why it was even pointed in their direction. You know what I mean? Because that is a big speech I got. Don't even point it at anybody.
They said the rehearsal was to make it look like you're shooting the camera. Like, I guess it was some shot, like the opening on James Bond, right? Where James Bond turns and shoots the camera. It must have been one of those, because they said he was supposed to be aiming for the camera.
And that's why the girl who was the photography lady is the one who got shot. She was the one behind the camera. Mm-hmm. Wow. So I wonder what was in that gun to begin with. If it's
killer.
A blank.
Yeah. Like even if it was, a projectile,
chances it has to be around big enough to go through one person into another, because that's what happened.
Oh my gosh. That's insane. Yeah. And this, I don't know much. I mean, we don't know much about the lady, another guy who got shot, because they're not Alec Baldwin famous. But I know she was young, right? She was like
40-something. She had a kid, Yeah. She, who she was? She was a working person on the crew, right? That's who the crew is. Yeah. That's who the crew is. They're working people. They're professional. They're good at what they do. And, this is something I've talked to people about, because the first time I worked on a set, I was a truck driver for Power Rangers, right? And what struck me was how much of a teamwork kind of thing it is. Like they really, we're all working together to get this done. And I think the assumption is that everyone's professional, right? So if you're the camera person, your assumption is that the prop person and the gun person know what they're doing. And that gun, isn't loaded. You know what I mean?
Well, and this was a small budget movie. This wasn't like a big
Hollywood budget movie.
Yeah. So they probably try to cut corners.
Yeah. Apparently that's what the whole thing was, that they were using the union people left, and they were using non-union people and trying to save money, and just, perfect storm for it to happen.
Right.
Like, it's another one of those things you're like, oh, that's why you pay professional union people versus some, you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason that there's somebody who's an armorer who specializes in guns on set. Like there's a reason you pay that guy, $500 a day or whatever he costs.
Get what you pay for. Yeah. John Heffron, are we going to get to find out what your costume is?
I don't know if Alonzo, if you have to leave, if one wants to say goodbye to Alonzo, because he is, we're just going to talk about our.
Kept him a long time. You want to stick
Alonzo,
around?
Are you anywhere we need the plug?
Well, if Heff is dropping secret knowledge, I want to know, because Heff is one of the more fascinating people I know. He never doesn't make me laugh. So.
That's a great compliment.
Well, so Alonzo, Alonzo, you could be witness to it. Like, we were dressing up. We both have Halloween parties to go to this weekend, and I got obsessed with the show on Netflix. and I went full on with this costume. Even down to I'll try to show you everything, even to the Casio wrist. I need where's my editor? Where's my computer program that can say wrist watch? Notice the shirt, right? Do you notice? Make sure my fly. You notice the jacket? You notice the jacket? Do you notice the backpack? And then do you notice this?
Wow. Okay.
I know who I am, Jon.
Alonzo, do you have? Well, I want Alonzo to try and guess first, and then I'll go.
From a Netflix show?
Yep.
No, I have no idea. You're not.
I guessed
Squid Games.
Right. I guessed Stranger Things first, and I was wrong. And then I'm thinking
I'm trying to think what roller derby show is on Netflix.
Hey, Alan, maybe we pull up a YouTube video of just the teaser of it, Alan, instead of showing the pictures. I don't know.
Is it a comedy?
Just saying that.
Is the show a comedy, John?
Yes. It's maybe one of the most best written, where's my computer AI voice, show ever. It goes dark, it goes sad, it goes funny, it deals with a lot of issues. Brief nudity, sometimes drug use.
Brief nudity, okay.
Brief nudity, but
I'm still stuck on it being the mostest best ever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. Gosh.
Unless you just saw that, John.
Is it a period piece?
I just saw it, so I can't say anything. I saw the title in the trailer.
Oh, I didn't see it. Does it take place in the 80s, John?
It does not. Although it's cinematically shot, or definitely has a feel of the 80s vibe, I always think, but is not actually taking place in the 80s.
Best written show. It's definitely on Netflix.
I think the show is unbelievable. Normally I'd have a 10-speed bike and I'd be walking with my best friend right now if I was.
So Alonzo, you said you already know because you just saw something?
I saw something up there and I think it's a show. So I'm gonna disqualify myself.
Actually, you know what? Here in the show, like if I was standing next to Alonzo in this outfit, he would actually be like, you would go, oh, I know exactly, because Alonzo looks just like an older version of my character. We look like if they remade the show 30 years from now and they go, what happened to the cast? That's what we look like.
Maybe I'm wrong then.
I have no clue.
It's a stretch, Alonzo, but it's if they redid the cast, 40 years from the original movie, me and you could be the older people, or it's not a takeaway movie.
All right. Is it sex education? Is that what I saw on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
John, you said brief nudity. That's got a lot of nudity in it.
Play the video, Alan. Play the video. Look at this outfit. Look at this. See the shirt. This matches perfectly.
See, I was going to guess that because I know you like that show, but when you said brief nudity, that threw me because I know the first scene was strong sexual content, which I love.
Okay.
I noticed you're pretending to masturbate, and I was wondering if you wanted to talk about it.
It's in Netflix.
I was banging as a sex guru.
There you are.
That's me. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Your earliest memory.
So wait.
Watch. Go back to.
Trust me.
That's
right there.
it.
See, Alonzo, that could be the young version of you. And right there is the version of me.
Wow.
We just need to get you a jean jacket and it's a bike helmet. And
so this is the best written show on Netflix.
Yeah.
Is what
Without a doubt. Yeah.
it is. Sure,
Alonzo, have you seen it?
No.
Okay. All right. So you're being
I
sarcastic.
have to watch it now, though.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, keep playing, Alan. You'll see, like.
You don't.
You know I love you so bad.
This is a new frontier, my sexually repressed friend. Our chance to
it takes place.
Okay, that's young.
Do you have those?
See his backpack?
Do you have those pants, John?
I lost the accent.
Good backpack.
About to shag or actually shagging.
See, it's so good. There's a lot of sexual things happening on this campus.
Yeah, Alonzo. So in the first episode, this dude fakes an orgasm, and there's a big thing about that.
That's what Michelle.
I don't want to. We should talk over it because I don't want to get flagged.
All right, we can turn it off.
Let's turn it off. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble with Netflix. Yeah. Okay, John.
Hey, Reep.
Yeah.
Netflix ain't worried about you right now. They got another comedian's problems they're dealing with.
Oh, tons. Yeah, they are. Well, which one are you talking about? Did you see the new Chapelle special?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We talked about last episode. We talked a little bit about it. And we were stuck on the, was it Da Baby?
Yeah.
There's a joke where he's like, all right, give us Da Baby back. Because apparently Da Baby said something homophobic. And so we went back and watched that, and we sort of went through that. But I'm with you. Someone was asking me my thoughts, and I said, look, Dave Chapelle has entered a new category of comedian. Like, he's beyond comedy at this point. And that's why it's called The Closer, in my opinion. It's like he's trying to close a book on something that maybe he didn't intend to open, but it was opened. And now I got to put an end to this. And that's kind of what it was. And it was funny, but it didn't have to be funny every 30 seconds.
Right. It wasn't the normal special where you're going for laughs all the time. I think Chapelle has become like a social commentator,
you
know?
Right.
And there was some comedy, some social commentary, but I think at least half of the people complaining about it didn't watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you watch it, toward the end, if you listen to him toward the end, you understand where his opinion came from. Now, I'm not here to say whether his opinion's right or wrong, because I don't judge. Everyone has their own opinion, but I see, okay, this is why he feels this way. And to me, totally justified. But
sure.
I don't know how much you guys have talked about it. I've been asked too many questions about it. And finally I was like, look, last time I checked, my remote still works.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
you can flip the channel.
I'm not a Tucker Carlson fan. So you know what? I don't watch him.
Yeah.
I don't watch him just to say what crazy shit he said today. I just don't watch him. Like, if you can't stand Dave Chapelle, why are you watching Dave Chapelle?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're right, too, that they didn't watch it, or if they did watch it, because Chappelle's great at this, he will start a joke or a premise, right? And he'll say something shocking, either in the beginning or in the middle. And if you're with people and they're like, what? And they talk over the punchline or the point of the joke, then they don't hear what it was all about to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes those things they're hilarious. The point he gets to is hilarious. But they're already arguing. They're already, And here's another thing, I tell people, like, they're complaining. Carlin did a whole thing about suicide and why some people should kill themselves. Like they lose their fucking minds over Carlin, because Carlin, you talk about not giving a shit. Yeah. He didn't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's been that way historically if you go back to Lenny Bruce, there's been many times where comedians have been controversial and people have tried to say, we can't have this. Well, this is a different world. They're trying to say it still, but now on more platforms with more people's voices are sadly heard.
Well, they keep expanding the words you can, Lenny Bruce, from all he got arrested for was like kind of cursing and saying words. So they go, you can't say these 6 words or you're going to get arrested. Now those 6 words is like 140.
Right. Yeah. They keep changing the meanings. They keep changing the meanings of words. So it's like, if you're not up to date on what the new meaning is, that's about
47 different identities for people now. I saw on some list. It's too much. Yeah, I can't memorize that. I was bad at times tables and I can't remember different combinations of humans.
Yeah.
Once again, as straight white males, I hate to tell you two, but it's your fault. Just be aware.
But see, we're just now realizing it because we were so privileged in our bubble for a long time.
Alonzo, you don't know, but me and John are part of this white 50-year-old or white guy club where we feel so bad for everybody. What we do is we go sit in a corner for 2 hours every night. We just sit in the corner. We put ourselves in a white guy timeout is what it's called. Just for all the wrongdoings that other white guys have.
Can I say this on behalf of people of color? If we had to be mad at straight white guys, you two would be the worst examples of what to be mad at. Like there's literally nothing with either one of you. You're like, shit, I can't be mad. Look at these two.
Right.
I can't be mad.
That makes me feel good because I've always hoped that that's what other people thought. It's like when they think Reaping, like he's harmless. He's fine. Leave the Heffron and Reep alone. They're not doing anything. They're just a couple of goofballs trying to get.
You know what it's like? It's like getting mad at a golden retriever. Like really? You don't like golden retrievers? You're a horrible person.
Well, yeah. So my self-worth, I get sometimes on social media, I get so mad at myself that I'm like, I could say anything and nobody's going to be mad because nobody's paying attention. I'm so off the grid and so off the radar. I can say whatever I want because nobody's listening and nobody cares.
I'll never forget when you told me how you could pull down your baseball cap and walk to the bathroom during your own show and people wouldn't know it was you.
Never. No. It's good. It's good. It's like I have a superhero. I'm like a superhero. Anyway. All right, fellas. I got to go find some food.
Alonzo, I love you, buddy. It's so good to see you, man.
Great to see you, John. I will, who knows, we'll cross paths on a poster at some club somewhere and wish each other the best. Heff, I will still hit you up every time I'm in Detroit, and one time I'm going to actually see you.
Yes, you have to. And I know you're doing a bunch of I don't know if you still have them with Tammy Pescatelli and Mitch. Are you guys still doing some shows on?
They're trying to sell some for next year. We only got one for this year, and then they're, trying to sell. Who knows? It's the
grab Pescatelli and come with me.
Small theaters, and we'll see.
Do bowling alleys with me and Reep. You grab Pescatelli.
Hey, we already talked about you. You keep bragging about these bowling alleys, but you're not giving us the contacts.
We can hook you up. John did it. You just gotta. I would practice without a microphone stand for just.
Yeah.
So that'll throw you.
Yeah, they're gonna fix that.
It threw us. I got in our heads a little bit, but they were good shows. We have.
That's right. Because I've only done big budget professional shows that have lights and microphones and it. Come on.
Yeah, he's been
without a mic stand. You kidding?
Yeah.
I think I'll get by.
Yeah.
I mean, you're from what was the place in LA they used to perform that was so huge? The Irish bar.
Dublin's.
Yeah, I used to perform on a booth on a table.
Exactly.
Right.
Take the table out of the booth and make the magic happen. And then be sure to put the table back when you're done.
This is a random question and not to even leave the podcast on because nobody's going to know this. But one of my biggest questions, I have a lot of big questions about life. Dublin's was so packed and was the place to do comedy, whatever era, whatever time frame that was. I haven't forgot. Mid 2000s.
No, maybe. It was like 2000 to 2004. Right.
You'd go to this place. It was the hottest place you could be on Sunset Strip. You couldn't even you got no guy to get in. You walk in, it's all beautiful people all sitting in this booth, and then comics would just kind of stand. I don't even remember the stage being that good or in a good place. A lot of people talking. Dane Cook would perform all the time. Alonzo would usually go at the very end of the night. But there was one guy, the guy who kind of ran it. How did he always get people to show up?
I got to tell you, his name was Jay Davis. His name is Jay Davis. Yeah. When it comes to promoting, you know what his talent is? He remembers every person he meets. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, he remembers your name. And so it's not, hey, come to the show. It's like, Debbie, Karen, remember when I saw you? We're doing a show. He made it so personal, and he truly believed it was the greatest show every week. It's the greatest show ever. But his talent, and we talked to him about this, like he wanted to be a comic, and we were like, no, man, you're a producer. Like, this is what you should do.
Right.
But his big talent was remembering people, and he would invite them, and it became very personal to them. And then the way it grew to be like this insider thing, like you wanted to see the comics there. I mean, because if you look at the comics who came through, you know, like you said, Dane was there when he became Dane. Dr. Ken was there all the time. Ralphie, you know, Craig Robinson, Sebastian.
Yeah.
You know, it was like everybody before they blew up. At that time, the only one who blew up at that time was Dane.
Right.
Everyone else, they blew up after, but it was a thing to see us every week because people knew what we were doing. It was, to me, it was like this fantastic pro open mic.
Yeah. It was an experience, man, because that also, let's not forget, it was valet parking for like $3.
Yeah. Well, the reason that bar made so much money, even before the show, imagine having a place on the Sunset Strip with your own parking lot. That was almost more valuable than a club. The fact that they had a giant parking lot in the back, and other places hated them. The other bars hated them because people would just come there. Could, just like you said, Reep, you could park for $3. So if you park for $3, you ain't walking down the street to park for $25. You're going to go to their fucking bar.
Yeah.
My only when every time I think of this Jay Davis guy, super nice to me. I think he put me on the stage a couple times, but he also had a comedy night or ran some other room. That was a very LA thing to do. There was a real hip like hotel that was down this really steep road, right all in the same area. I forgot what it was, the Fairmont, or it was like super trendy. It was like hidden, the hotel, and they had a little bar in it, and they had like a velvet rope. And if you weren't on the list, you couldn't get in this bar that maybe sat 30 people, right? You're not even in a nightclub. It's just literally this dark, just kind of bar. And I remember going there with a buddy of mine, Peter Berman, and we were in there. And then Peter looked at me and said, "We have to leave." And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because Jay Davis would like us to leave." And I go, "Why are we? But what did we do?" You know, it was just me and Peter just talking to each other in this corner of this, literally like the smallest bar ever. And I'll never forget, this is kind of when I first moved to LA. He goes, Bob Saget is coming. And then in my brain, I'm thinking, and he's bringing 3 people. And then again, my brain was and he's like, that will fire marshal. It'll max out. He can't bring 4 people into this bar because there's only allowed to be 30. So so Jay was picking people in the bar who had to leave, like a reality show. Like we didn't make the next round.
I love the sentence, because Jay Davis wants you to leave.
Jay Davis wants to leave because Bob Saget is bringing people to the bar. Great. And then we left, and that was the last time I ever talked to him. So maybe
let's tease the next episode with a great Jay Davis story.
Okay.
I've known the guy. I did Dublin's. You know, he's opened for me a couple of times. Jay Davis. He has this a crazy email list, right? So Jay, over the years, would get everyone's emails as well. Also, when MySpace was big, like he took advantage of that. So he opened for me a couple of times. We have to talk about the time where he was the manager of Keanu Reeves' band Dog Star.
Okay, let's leave it. Let's leave it right there. That's it. We'll leave it right there.
No time.
Go to heffronandreep.com for our dates. I got some coming up here in November. This Thursday, Traverse City, Michigan. Go there. There's all the dates for John. He's places. I'm places. Alonzo's places. We're all places.
Alonzo, what's your website?
My name, AlonzoBodden.com.
There you go.
Soon, me and Reep will get a P.O. box where if you really want to talk shit to us, you have to physically send us a letter that we won't open because it'll probably have race
anthrax.
Yeah, anthrax. So we're not going to open it. So don't send it to our fake PO box. All right, everybody, take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Halloween. Watch Sex Education.
Since you love the Heffron and Reep show, please go to iTunes and let them know. Rank the show and leave a comment. We don't care what you write, you know. They, Heffron and Reep, have low self-esteem. So please validate them by ranking them and making them seen. So no matter